Hello and welcome to this Derive HPE podcast, which focuses on the SMB market. I'm delighted to have David Gaston, Senior Director for Small and Medium Business at Hewlett Packard Enterprise, joining us today. Welcome, David.
Hey, Staffy, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Working with Derive and our friend Darius Stafford, together we've helped many customers address their hybrid IT needs with both public and private cloud solutions. And we've been working together for over 20 years, serving many commercial, small, and mid-sized customers. By the way, it's also important to highlight that Derive has valuable experience, expertise, and resources focused on the healthcare market, supporting our joint healthcare customers. But most recently, we've seen the value of this partnership grow during the pandemic, really as customers change their business models, starting with the rapid growth of remote workers and now with the workforce gradually returning to the office. For this conversation today, also joining us is Philip Woodenberg, Green Lake Sales Executive at Hewlett Packard Enterprise. Hey, welcome, Philip.
Thank you, David, and happy to be here.
Excellent. So, David and Philip, I'm excited to get into this discussion. So, David, from your perspective, what are the biggest challenges facing SMB today?
I'd like to talk about two challenges that we hear most often from our customers are security and cost control. Keep them up at night that they're addressing all the time. And clearly, there's been a lot of dialogue on the evolution of cyber attacks and how IT solution manufacturers are reacting to addressing this critical need. For us, it really started 4 years ago, back in 2017, when we were one of the first to predict the growing risk of ransomware and breaches. We noticed this and we rolled out new capabilities with our ProLiant Gen 10 server technology powered by our Silicon Root of Trust. So, Staffy, let's start by all agreeing that no one can entirely prevent the attacks.
Agreed. Of course, agreed. They seem inevitable. So, how can HPE help over here?
Right. So if a security intrusion is inevitable, detection and recovery becomes even more important. So with HPE Gen 10 and Gen 10 Plus servers with the Silicon Root of Trust, HPE brought to market this unique capability that no other vendor can provide. We can detect an attack breach within 6 minutes. Let me say it again, 6 minutes through our unique continuous runtime verification. By the way, the industry average to detect a breach before the pandemic was 81 days. During the pandemic, with so many other priorities, the time to detect a breach went up to 140 days. Imagine that, 140 days to detect a breach. That's devastating. So HPE having the ability to shorten this detection time to 6 minutes can leave the cyber criminals with no time to plan their next steps. This is a huge benefit for our customers. Then HPE also has 3 ways to rectify any breach and to recover to a safe state or full redeployment of the operating system all the way to the firmware and BIOS. So we're not only have this unique capabilities to detect the breach, we're able to save the day and recover from the breach. All right. So then to add another layer of security, we're really doubling down on this supply chain. Last year, we announced the first made in the USA. Gotta love that. Made in the USA ProLiant DL380T, shipping from our highly secure factory in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. The DL380T and this year the new DL360T are both shipping with security features enabled, including intrusion detection, and configuration lock. And there's more. We can even ship, this is pretty cool, we can even ship a dedicated truck and a driver to eliminate the unnecessary stops and reducing physical access by cyber criminals. These unique features have given us an edge over our competitors and have led to us earning the Cyber Catalyst designation from Marsh, awarded a division of Marsh McClellan, awarded for bringing to market a very secure product and secure supply chain. We are the only manufacturer with this designation. Cyber Catalyst designation can also provide customers with preferential cybersecurity insurance coverage and, frankly, the peace of mind by building their business in a safe environment. That's security, high-level overview. The second one we hear from our customers very often is cost control. We've got Philip here. Philip, I know you're helping our customers address cost control concerns every day.
Yes, thank you. The way that HPE has approached the market with regards to cost control. It takes a number of fronts, and really the foremost program for that is what we call GreenLake. And the question we always get asked is, well, what is GreenLake, and why is that important to me? So let's kind of pull back from that just a little bit and say, well, what is the market doing? How do customers currently view their use of technology? What are they looking for? And here's what we're being told. Customers say, we want to have something that's more agile, something that's more flexible. Customers are telling us that they're placing more of an emphasis on the workloads, right? The job that needs to be done, and maybe less interest on some of the specifics about the vehicle that's being used to do that job. Customers are telling us they got all kinds of data coming from the edge now, and they need to have this tighter control over costs. There's a lot going on. And, when we look at that, a lot of customers have said they like this idea of a public cloud, right? It's easy. They can pick some capacity, they can pay to use it, it solves for an immediate problem, and they just need something right away, and it gives them an opportunity to offload some operational tasks. The challenge is it's a different technology stack. It's a different operational process, okay? And so now customers are looking at the market, and they're seeing what we have to offer through GreenLake, which is a program designed to try to capture what's best in that public cloud experience, right? This pay-per-use, this consumption model, design it so that the technology is custom. All the security things, David, that you mentioned earlier can come into play here. GreenLake isn't a technology. GreenLake is a program virtually covering everything that is on the HPE truck, okay? So all of the things that we're used to, we can plug into this GreenLake agreement, and it's built to be anything from a basic level of technology to a very enhanced level of technology. So we just have a whole wide array of options there. So much more could be said. Maybe a sample use case would be simple things. Customer says, I have some older technology on my data center floor. I still need to have stuff on the data center floor. I'd like some new stuff, and I want to upgrade. Well, we can do that in a GreenLake program. Or maybe something more complex. Customer says, I have this old, outdated data center. It's going to cost a fortune for us to update it. I'm looking for essentially a fully hosted, fully managed environment, and I don't want to write a giant check to fund it. I want to be able to pay for it as I go. That's all GreenLake. We're giving our customers the ability to respond to change quickly. We're giving them a model that allows them to grow without having to buy new hardware, and it's a shared risk model based around services.
So responding quickly, room to grow, shared services model. Staffy, what is Derive seeing in the market?
Couple of things over here. One is security and cyber threats continue to be on top of the list, Other than the obvious, there are two key factors that continue to fuel this need, right? One being the workplace disruption caused by the pandemic, right? And two is the modern day architecture around line of business applications and access to critical data, stretching all the way from edge to cloud. As a result, the attack surface has grown just exponentially. And clients are just inundated by this. And the big ask is how? How do we monitor? How do we monitor, protect, and recover from these hacks and cyber threats? So we've worked extremely closely with our partners and HPE to identify and deploy solutions with inherent built-in security across the stack, be it compute, be it storage, networking, converged, hyper-converged. That's what we're doing right now. Our approach is time-tested and proven. We begin with a detailed assessment and then introduce policies that meet governance and compliance, deploying your solutions that help, again, monitor, prevent, and even remediate and yes, hear this correctly, and even in some cases, self-heal, right? So we've done this successfully for a lot of our clients. We continue to do this for a lot of our clients, allowing to operate knowing that they are well protected. And I'd like to touch on another point again, very much in line with what Philip was talking about. We're noticing a huge demand for as a service, cloud-like experience. Now, the way we are receiving this is as a service is not necessarily new, but it's truly beginning to resonate and resonate now. This is across the board for all use cases, whether it's applications, business continuity, disaster recovery, you name it. It is everything as a service. And as you mentioned, we're currently working with a SMB client who has a legacy and dated platform and looking for literally a turnkey state-of-the-art data center. The idea of GreenLake combining the flexibility, combining as a service, the cloud-like experience is extremely enticing, right? Here again, not to state the obvious, around as a service, we're facing a new catalyst in the market space today, supply chain. This has become just unbelievable. And you put all of this together, and GreenLake becomes the obvious choice, So let me pause on Derive for a minute. David, SMBs are constantly challenged by the need to balance cost while simultaneously providing good application performance and tight security. How does HPE fill this gap, and how are you supporting these SMB needs?
Yeah, challenges indeed. So whether you're a small business with no on-staff IT or a growing mid-sized company with IT generalists, HPE has easy-to-own small business technology solutions that combine servers, storage, software, networking, and cloud capabilities into a true turnkey experience.
So let me talk specifically about as a service, consumption-based offerings. Philip, from an SMB perspective, what is useful for our audience to know?
Well, let's just say there's four things to keep in mind. Number one, with GreenLake, the model is a pay-per-use model. So we just need to make sure that everybody understands that this is pay-per-use. And when we say that, obviously we're measuring something, right? Very much like the public cloud as well. We're measuring gigabytes in storage and memory and compute and things like that. So the model is very similar to that. You mentioned doing some assessments, by the way. That's critical because we want to find out where each customer is today. The second area is scalability. So what we do is we look at what the current utilization is for the customer, and then we make sure that we put enough technology in a place for that customer to use that meets that current need, but as well has room for acceptable growth. And most customers will tell you where they're at and how they're growing. This isn't rocket science. They're pretty good about it, right? The fact that they don't have to pay for it all up front, that's a big benefit. The third part is what I like to call as a unified system, right? So now let's say you have this environment. What does it look like? So with our GreenLake Central portal, we're going to be able to see our utilization in contrast to the capacity I have on site or the capacity that's available to me through a data center. And I'm also even going to be able to see what I might be doing in the public cloud. So we're not saying no to that. We know customers are there. We know that they're very happy with certain aspects of it. Let's bring them together. Let's give the customer the ability to see, I've got this workload here and I've got that workload there. These workloads cost me X here and Y there. Maybe there's a reason why I might want to rethink where I put a certain workload. Huge operational efficiency. The fourth part is management. Okay. So in the GreenLake model, we come alongside with the customer to really take over some of the management part of having access to this technology. So you're not on your own. You didn't just fire up a VM in a public cloud and you're on your own. You get you get to have a whole lot of other resources around you and around that environment.
Yeah, that's very compelling. So pay-per-use, scalability, unified system, and managed for you. Thanks for bringing this all together, Philip. We appreciate that. So Philip Staffy, how can our audience find out more?
Excellent. We welcome the opportunity to engage and strategize together. Please visit derivetech.com/contact. Fill in your information, and we will be happy to schedule a call at your convenience. With that, I would like to thank you, David and Philip, for your time and valuable input. Really enjoyed the conversation today. And most importantly, I would like to thank you, the audience, for listening in, and we look forward to engaging with you. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.